Christina here with New York Country Swag for another version of our up close and virtual interviews. Today we have one of our 2020 artists to watch, Parker McCollum. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? I'm good. How are you?
Good. It is so good to see your face. I know things are been crazy, but it's great that we have the technology to be able to still bring artist interviews to our followers here in New York and then across the country as well. So a lot to talk about. Congratulations. The EP is coming out this week. How excited are you?
I'm pretty stoked. It's strange to put out music and not be able to go tour on it. But I mean, it's kind of a bright spot of this year, so I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people have been waiting for your music, and I think it's funny that in all of the press releases and things, they call you a road warrior. So, I mean, it's probably been really tough for you this year to just be able to sit at home and not tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, there's a side of it that is nice, to get to go to the ranch and go hunt and see my family a lot more is kind of the silver lining of it all. But we were just so busy. It was nonstop all year round for the last 2 or 3 years. So it's just odd. I never thought, this year would be spent at home.
Nobody did. I mean, we talk about it often how, covering concerts in New York City, we're at a show at least once a week. So to not have shows for all this time has just been like devastating. But hopefully we'll get back to it soon and we'll be able to hear this EP live. We are so thrilled that it's finally here and the fans can listen to it. So I definitely want to touch on a few things. The name, I love the title, and I'm sure all of your interviews are asking you about it, but I want to hear the story from your words. Why the name, and why did that story make you decide that that's the theme of your, this project?
It's kind of simple. It really just sounded very cool. And I thought and I was kind of getting some pressure from the label on, finding a name for the project. And the story I had heard my grandma and my granddad when he was still alive and my uncles and stuff, they tell a story often and talk about this Australian championship racehorse that my granddad had purchased a long time ago before I was born. And I think at a time where they really probably didn't have the means to be buying things like that. But my grandpa was just a great cowboy, really in every sense of the word, and kind of had a special eye for horses. And so he knew what he was doing. And long story short, they get the horse over here, and a phenomenal horse, and ends up getting stolen. And my granddad's going out for months and months at nighttime. Sometimes my grandma would go with them, and they'd be looking for this horse all over town. And there's a happy ending, and they ended up finding the horse, and it produced a lot of good horses. Just really high end, very just genetically gifted horses. And through that lineage, it really did end up. It's a happy ending. And I'd heard that story my whole life, but I think just because I was looking for a title for this project so much at the time, it kind of, I remember thinking when my grandma was telling us a few months ago, I was like, how have I never has that never inspired a song or anything after hearing that my whole life? And I was just like, Hollywood Gold, that's got to be the EP title.
Very, very cool. Now, the lead single, we were actually lucky enough back in February, before the world turned upside down, we were at the Country Radio Seminar in Nashville. We got to hear you perform it on that legendary stage at the Ryman, and it was such a cool moment. And now, so many months later, to see it climbing the charts, what does it feel to, you've had so much success already and you've built this great fan base, but now to see this song, Pretty Heart, climb the charts, what's it like?
It's really cool. I think the coolest part about it is my parents get really excited about it. Like, I'll call my mom or I'll call my dad, and they just think it's like the coolest thing in the world. Whereas, I kind of look at it as, if it goes number one or doesn't climb another spot, I still have to keep doing this. It's not like I get to retire with the number one or anything.
That is true.
But it's just really, in a year that's been so wild, that song's really been a bright spot as well as it's doing, all things considered. So, really the only thing that it makes me think about is, okay, now I got to go do it again.
The next one. Exactly. The follow-up to that. I totally feel that. Now, with the EP, obviously you're a gifted songwriter, and that's something that you've crafted over the years, and you've been known for being a songwriter. So you're a songwriter on 5 of the songs. So kind of tell me how that has shaped, and like how will that showcase you as an artist and as a songwriter for the fans that may be newer to your music?
Well, I just think it's very honest. Everything that's come out of my first two records and this project, they all come from a very genuine, authentic place. I think I put a lot of time into these records and writing these songs, and I can't fake it at all. Whether it's on stage or writing or singing, I've really got to believe it, and I really want other people to believe it and buy it when they hear it. So, to be able to still be writing records and have had such a large hand in on writing this one, I would like that to continue, and I hope that's something that people recognize.
For sure. And the one outside cut was written by Chris Stapleton. So we have to talk about that. So what was it like? Do you sort of remember when you heard it, or when you were like, I need to record this song, and like, why include that on the project?
The song really, the label sent me the song, just an audio file, a demo of Stapleton singing it. And I listened to it like 10 times in a row. I sent it to my dad, and he thought I had written it, because if you listen to it and you listen to the rest of the EP and everything else I've been working on lately, it sounds like it came out of this batch of songs I've been working on. It just fit really well, and it reminded me a lot of how I grew up, working for my granddad and stuff, and it just felt really, really good. I wouldn't have cut it if it didn't feel good from every angle, and being able to go into the studio for once and not have to. I'm always in there thinking, is this song done? Is it finished? Is it good enough? Should I be cutting it at all? Does this suck? Changing stuff at the last minute while I'm cutting vocals, and so to just have to go in and sing, I knew the song was good. I knew I didn't. All I had to do was go in and record it. It was really, I enjoyed the process.
That's so interesting to me. I would have never thought about that as a songwriter, even like after it's finished, as you're going to record it, because it's going to be one of those songs on the EP, you're like, oh wait, do I need to change this? Is it like you second guess yourself? I would have never thought that a songwriter who is also an artist recording their own songs would have those doubts in their brain.
Yeah, and you have them after the record comes out. It's too late then. So every now and then you'll catch me singing something a little different in a song. I'm like, that's what I wish I would have thought before. So.
That's so cool. And songwriters' brains just like completely fascinate me. So that is so cool, like to hear that. And I wonder how many I'm sure a lot of other songwriters probably feel that same way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I've spoken with about anybody, I don't think, except for in interviews. I just I didn't even think about it until afterwards. I really enjoyed just going in and cutting a song and just singing and playing guitar. It was so much less on my mind. But I think I just enjoyed it more than worrying so much about whether what I was putting out there was good enough to stand on its own.
Totally interesting. Well, clearly the fans love it, and so clearly they're going to love this too. So you have nothing to worry about. You have a great fan base. So in COVID times, what is the plan to like going forward? And what do you have? Do you have anything cool planned to get this music out to your fans, or have you found during quarantine and during all this, have you found like a great, like you said, silver lining, like to connect with fans in a different way? Because I do feel like they're listening to music differently, because for a while we couldn't do anything but sit at home. So I feel like it's cool that they're getting to digest music differently.
Yeah, we can't tour. We've been playing a couple like socially distanced shows. They're not anything normal by any means. But it really is. It's strange to put out music and not be able to go feel how well it's doing by whether they're coming to the shows and singing those songs immediately, and so but at the same time it's like nice to put something out in a year that has just been kind of a giant blur and you don't really know what's going on. This kind of gives me a little grasp on, okay, now I can live with this for a little while, which I'm already working on the full album, which this EP will be a part of. But that, we won't put anything out like that so we can tour again. So it's I don't know. I just hope it does well and people connect with it. And then we'll figure out what the hell we're going to do after that.
I love it. Well, that's kind of the way we've been. It's like every time I end an interview, I'm like, so what are your plans for the rest of this crazy time? And it's kind of a silly question because nobody has real plans. It's like you make plans and then it's like, oh, just kidding. We can't do any of that. So do you have, what, if things were back to normal, you know, what are your plans for going forward? You said a full length.
For sure, full album, which I think it's close to done. Maybe not. I don't think, maybe the label doesn't think it is. But yeah, I mean, as soon as we kind of have a grasp on when we can start touring normally and full time again, I think that'll kind of give us a little better picture of when we should put the rest of it out. So,
totally makes sense. Well, we're excited to have this little project to be able to hold us over to the full length. And we were so glad to get to chat with you today. And we know that fans are going to absolutely love it. We love it. We'll have a full review up on the site. And we can't wait to see you in person, hopefully soon back in New York or in Nashville. And it was so great chatting with you.
Cool. Christina, thank you so much for putting up with me and giving me some of your time. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Have a great day.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.